You thinking about moving to Denver, or more specifically Golden, Arvada, somewhere on the west side of town? Well, go ahead and stay tuned. We're going to walk through the pros and cons of living on the west side of Denver and the suburbs close to the foothills in the Rocky Mountains. And by the way, I am Warren Bunker with the Bunker team at Keller Williams Advantage, and together my wife Kelsey and I have helped hundreds of people just like you make their move to or around the Denver metro area. So if you are thinking about relocating, give us a call, shoot us a text or an email, whatever works for you, works just fine for us. So let's talk about the pros and cons of actually living in Golden, Colorado. So the pros are going to be pretty obvious. Golden is actually just nestled right into the foothills. So not only is it easy access, like we've talked about, to the mountains, the foothills, to hiking, biking, you got Clear Creek that runs right through it. You've also got this historic downtown area, which we've walked through in some other videos. So take a look at those if you haven't seen them yet. But you've just got this close access, this close proximity to everything that you might want to get to, especially from an outdoor perspective. Number one pro for living in Golden, Colorado, it is an outdoor person paradise. You've got hiking close by, you've got biking close by, you've got Clear Creek that's close by, easy to get to the mountains when it's time to go skiing. You're nestled into the foothills, so you've got views all over the place from the plateau to the actual foothills, mountains, everything else like that. If you're here moving to Colorado to be in the outdoors, Golden is the perfect place for you. Number two, a very charming and historic downtown for downtown Golden. This is not kind of an afterthought downtown like we see sometimes in some suburbs where we just do like an outdoor shopping mall and throw it up there and call it good somewhere near our municipal building. No, this is something that's been around for more than 100 years. It's been there a long time and has a lot of great activity. I mean, we've done some videos and shown some of the activity there, from Goldens and Golden to we just had the local high school homecoming parade that my kids absolutely loved going to, walking up and down the shops downtown, places to eat, lots of just fun stuff. Downtown Golden is a really charming, fun place to be. Number three, the Colorado School of Mines, which is in the world of engineering especially a very highly regarded school, is right here in the heart of Golden. And so what that brings is a lot of energy, a lot of events, a lot of fun things built around this area of Golden. Kind of really intermingles really well with the campus without being like a college town. And number four, if you are in Golden, your access to the mountains, especially when it's time for skiing and you got to get up I-70, is second to none. The only thing that's better would be actually being on the mountains at the resort at the time that the lifts open. Golden is right there, real easy access. If you're coming from the Denver metro area to go up to ski on the weekends, Golden is really the best place to be making that adventure from. Okay, now time for the cons. If you're thinking about living in Golden, you want to know what's the downside? Well, number one is probably the most obvious. If you've seen my video on what you can afford in Golden, Colorado, housing is expensive, especially compared to some of the areas nearby. I mean, really, the west side of Denver is considered, generally speaking, more expensive and more highly regarded than things east of I-25, or if we go too far north or too far south. And that is all because so many people live in the Denver metro area, because that ease of access to the mountains, the views that you get, the hiking, biking, all that really fun stuff that we talked about is closer when you're on the west side of town. And again, Golden is about as far west as you get before you actually start getting into the mountains. So you get as much of, the best of the city life and the best of the foothills or mountain life kind of all rolled into one, which means it's highly desirable, highly sought after, and very expensive for housing costs. Number two con of living in Golden is tourism. While it's great for the economy and has a lot of fun stuff to offer, it means you're going to get crowds, especially on the weekends when they're doing these events and things like that. And if you're thinking, I just want to make a quick trip into town and be quiet and really not have to deal with a lot of people, well, that's not going to be downtown Golden. There's plenty of other areas around. Even if you're in Golden, you could venture outside of the city and go to Arvada, Wheat Ridge, Lakewood, some of the close by places to do some maybe more low-key shopping or weekend activities. But finding a place to park and all of these constant activities in Golden, it's great if your energy is high and that's what you're looking for. But if you're thinking more peace and quiet, There's a couple spots in Golden, but more than likely you want to look at other suburbs. Okay, and number 3 con of living in Golden, the commute to Denver can be tough. Now, I've said a number of times it is close by. We're still Denver Metro, so the greater Denver area is definitely there, but Golden, being about the furthest west before we break into the true foothills in areas like Evergreen or Kittredge or Bailey or things like that, is as far west as possible. That means a little bit more driving to get onto 6th or I-70 or 470, one of the major highways that's going to get you to downtown or the Denver Tech Center or places like that where most people are working. You shouldn't base where you live based just on your commute, because where you work is going to change, or your assignments may change. I can't tell you how many people that I've worked with who bought their home thinking, yeah, my work announced that we were remote in 2020 or 2021, and so I bought this house that's an hour away from where my office is, and now they said, hey, guess what? You have to come back in. Okay, well, now you've got this commute, but most of those people still are happy with the decision that they made because they bought the home and for the community, not for proximity to work. That stuff can change all the time. Who knows when you may get another job, or whatever may happen in your future. Your home, your community, those things are a little bit more permanent. So while I do agree that it is a con that's a little bit farther away from Denver areas, I still think that should be a little bit lower on your list of priorities when you're home shopping. Okay, that's it. That is my pros and cons list for Golden, Colorado. Honestly, I've never personally lived in Golden. No, that's not true. I rented a house in Golden for 1 year with some buddies of mine when I was 19, 20 years old. So technically I have lived in Golden, but I've lived around Golden and visited Golden a number of times. And ultimately, the trade-offs of Golden are pretty obvious. It is a place that a lot of people love. People really seek out Golden for mostly all of its outdoor experiences and proximity to just about everything. So if that's for you, and the prices aren't something that are going to push you away, then awesome. Golden might be the city for you. There's new builds, there's older homes, there's attached products, single family. Really, there's no limit to what exists for type of housing in Golden. So whether you're looking to move across town or across country in 2 days or 200 days, the Bunker team is here to help. If you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button if you want to learn all there is to know about living in the Denver metro area.